This morning, boy, have we got a great summer beach read for you. The new thriller Falling is centered around a terrifying premise. An airline pilot is given a choice: crash a commercial jet carrying hundreds of passengers, or his family back on the ground will be killed. It's written by T.J. Newman, a former flight attendant who worked on the story while flying at 35,000 feet. And it's all the more impressive because of the struggles Newman dealt with trying to get Falling published. Yesterday was the first time you've flown in more than a year.
Yeah.
Thank you for making the trip.
My pleasure. It felt great to get back on a plane.
We met T.J. Newman in the city and airport that serves as the starting point for her explosively entertaining first novel, Falling.
So it starts here, and my story starts here too. I was based at LAX for 10 years the whole time I flew, so this feels like coming home. See, that's a 777. She's gorgeous.
With more Americans finally flying again, a book about a plane that may or may not crash might not be the most soothing tonic. Just try putting this one down.
The whole idea for the story came from a flight that I was working, a red-eye from Los Angeles to New York, and I was blocking. I'm standing at the front of the plane. Pilots are doing their bathroom break behind me, and I'm looking out at the passengers. Cabin's dark, and it strikes me that their lives, our lives, are in the hands of the pilot. And so with that much power and responsibility, how vulnerable does that make a commercial pilot?
In Falling, after the captain's family is kidnapped, both the crew on the plane and FBI agents on the ground have to scramble to save hundreds of lives. The twists and turns that unfold are ideas Newman scribbled down on cocktail napkins at 35,000 feet. She says she went through more than 30 drafts.
You got how many rejections?
41 agent rejections.
And 42 was
My one and only yes.
You didn't tell anyone you were doing this.
I didn't tell anyone I was
You kept it a
doing
secret.
this. Yep.
And you only could tell them after they started to wonder, like, what the hell is TJ doing?
I'm fairly certain my family assumed I was leading a double life, which I guess I was, but just, not in the way that they necessarily expected. Look, I had come off of several years in New York pursuing a career in theater, and it was nothing but failure. I mean, just failure after failure after failure. And so when I left New York, I kind of turned a little bit more introverted in that way of risks that I put out there. And that's why I didn't tell anybody I was writing this book. I wanted to do it for me.
Falling joins a list of airplane-based thrillers that first took off with Arthur Haley's best-selling 1968 novel, Airport.
You'll kill yourself for nothing if you explode that bomb. Stay where you are.
When it was made into a hit movie in 1970, it spawned a whole new genre of disaster films.
Get on oxygen!
And spoofs.
Passengers certain to die. Airline negligent.
There's a sale at Penny's.
None more famous than 1980's Airplane.
Can you fly this plane and land it?
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Ever since Hollywood and the publishing world have had a long track record of cashing in on the high-anxiety world of air travel.
I have had it with these snakes on this plane.
I remember reading a Michael Crichton book that was scary incidents regarding planes, and you'd think it would make people more scared to fly. It actually made me more comfortable.
Airframe is the book, and I love that book, and that's a response that I've gotten from Falling as well, which surprised me, but I love. People have said, I've typically been terrified to fly. I'm a horrible flyer, but reading this book, I feel reassured because I didn't know there were so many options.
Falling will likely change the way you think next time you do step on a plane, as Newman hammers home. Hint, making sure your drink is topped off is not what a flight attendant is there for.
It's so nice to have the job viewed from a more respectful position.
No, that said, the food and drinks and all that is part of it, but it's not mainly what you're there for.
No, service is just something we gladly provide. But you'll almost never see flight attendants doing their job. I hope you never see us doing our job, because our job is to make sure if there's a medical emergency, we're handling it. If you're having a heart attack, I'm not going to bring you a Diet Coke. I'm going to go get the defibrillator and make sure that you survive. Flight attendants are on board for safety and security, period.
Last year, Newman took a voluntary furlough from her flight attendant duties. Recently, she quit outright. Her job flying is done, but it sounds like writing about planes is not.
I flew for 10 years, so I don't think I exhausted all of my stories and experience in one book, so I might have at least a couple more.
You know, surreal is a word that gets overused, and you know, there's so many cliches associated with sort of finding sudden success in publishing, but have you gotten more comfortable with it?
Surreal is overused, and overused by me. I say it probably multiple times a day, but I don't know a better word to describe what I'm feeling. This doesn't feel real. I got so used to hearing and accepting no that it's hard for me to accept that the yeses are actually happening, that I'm here, that this is actually coming to pass. It is surreal.
I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
We're happy too, Jeff.
It's so good. It moves. It just moves at a great pace. It's a great beach read. It's a great thriller. I can't wait to see the movie.
Yeah. I love her story because clearly she saw failure as a path to success. I mean, it's just so great that she kept moving forward.
Yep, after 41 rejections. Can you imagine her sketching out the ideas in the cocktail napkins?
No, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Cabin is sleeping and...
Thanks for the airplane clip, too.
Yes. And snakes on a plane.
And Air Force One.
And airport. How about that?